Hi there, Leo. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. Thanks for joining me. It's February 2019. I have your horoscope here. I've just been looking at it and trying to make heads or tails of it. For those of you that are into astrology, you can apply what I'm saying here not just to the sun sign, but also to the lunar sign and the ascendant if you wish. Pardon me. So, a couple of important things this month. Your rule of the sun is with Mercury in the western part of the horoscope. So that endows your planet and the general affairs of the month with considerable strength. We also see that early in the piece, on the 5th, there's a new moon taking place in that very same part of your horoscope. So relationships are strongly favoured, and in particular your most intimate ones, with the Sun and Mercury there. The new moon, of course, has a bearing on rejuvenating things. These are new chapters or new episodes that can commence as a result of the new moon. They are the two main phases, the new moon and the full moon. Later in the month, the full moon takes place on the 20th in your second house. So this, I don't like to segregate these two phases. I think they're part and parcel of the same sort of energetic, and even though they occur in different parts of your horoscope, they do indeed somehow link. So the issue of relationships turning over a new leaf, approaching things very, very differently with your partner at this time, is what's indicated by the new moon. And then that later full moon in your finance sector in the sign of Virgo in your second house is more to do with finances, money, value systems. But because these two things are linked in a very subtle way, then it could be that the way you change things in your relationship will be dependent on the financial outcomes, the value systems that you share or maybe don't share, and they're coming to some clear understanding. We also note that Mercury will transit into the zone of shared resources later in the month, and that's going to also punctuate your timeline with some issues related to how you share your money and your resources. The really significant career transits for you are the transit of Venus into your 6th house. Now this shows around the 3rd of February a new cycle commencing there where you can really start to enjoy what you're doing. Now that could be the work you're doing or the people that you work with. In any case, if you enjoy what you're doing, the chances are you are going to do much better at it. And here we see a collaborative energy, a social sort of energy that makes you far more connected to the people you work with, because you realise that having the team on side is going to further your future results. So this is an important transit, and it precedes the second transit on the 14th, which relates to your work, and that's a very dominant Mars moving into your 10th house of professional activities. Mars is one of your better planets. It's the planet of luck and good karma for you, ruling your 9th house. It's also endowed with some spiritual vibrations too. So, number one, early in the month, you've got that transit of Venus into your work, and then Mars into the 10th. So, initially liking the work you do, there could be some shift in the pattern of your work, your schedule maybe, the tasks that you've been enlisted to do. But with that genuine enjoyment that you feel, comes that great push or drive or ability to, make your mark in your professional arena by the transit of Mars into the 10th house. Now, having said that, we see that before it transits into that area, it's currently right now in the 9th house of your horoscope, moving into a close conjunction of Uranus. We've talked about that planet. And here we see the rather abrupt, sudden and progressive energies. It's an electric influence on your horoscope, Leo, and that's having a favourable influence to Jupiter in your 5th house. And in the initial part of the month, still some connection to Venus. So these are all favourable aspects that point the way to a far more creative month for you, a liking for your work, and a dominant, almost aggressive approach to gaining what you want through your workplace activities. That's that Mars in the 10th house, imbued with that progressive, avant-garde, unpredictable element of Uranus in your 9th house. Now, before that workplace change or drive occurs, we see also that the 9th house has to do with education, it has to do with legal matters. So travels, long journeys are indicated by this. So anything associated with those things could be subjected to some radical turnaround when you least expect it. And that's happening right now with Mars moving into the conjunction in the 9th house. Eastern astrologers take the 9th house to be one's father. Other astrologers, especially Western astrologers, take the 10th house to be one's father. Nevertheless, it's transiting the 9th house now up until the 14th, and then it moves to the 10th. So either way, it is going to pretty much affect your relationship with your father. There can be some unexpected contact with that person, and in their life it shows a change in the way in which they're presenting themselves. So you may have expected this person, and also, by the way, this relates to employers because the 10th house is employers. So let's take this as an umbrella to cover your dad, authority figures, your employer, something that changes there. So you need to be on your toes and prepared to change your plans, to change your interactive manner with that person at the drop of a hat. So, back to the full moon, we see that the sequence of these transits seems to make sense. You know, the creativity, the increased love for the work that you do, the tasks that you're doing, the drive for greater push and ambition in your work itself. And then, on the 20th, that full moon in your 2nd house of income, which is really, really lovely. And we see, however, that the full moon there may be at odds with Jupiter in your 5th house. That's finance. It increases your money. It gives you an opportunity to demand what you want financially. It also shows an increase in family members. So there can be births in the family, new connections with relatives, reunions, family reunions. I take the 2nd house along with the 4th house of the horoscope. In your case, Scorpio is the 4th house. We see also by reflex action that Mars in your 10th house will be looking directly at your 4th house after the 14th of the month. So 14th, we see that influence on your family life as well. And then you've got that full moon in your 2nd house. So an interesting month, positive one, lucky, and one that seems to be focused more on your professional activities this month. Take a look at the further, deeper analysis of your month in question at my site, astrology.com.au. You can pop in there, take a look at the yearly readings that I've done, so you get this month in the context of the larger, bigger picture. And by all means, subscribe, email me at Dadhichi@astrology.com.au, and I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction if you've got any questions. Till next month, have a safe one, enjoyable and successful one. Take care for now. Bye-bye.